Hi everyone, I'm back and joined by my French Bulldog Tucker to talk to you about how to use games during your speech therapy practice sessions at home. So I love to use games in therapy because not only can we work on tons of speech and language skills, but also pragmatic skills. Pragmatic skills are social language skills that we use when we talk about our thoughts, feelings, and ideas, and they occur very naturally during gameplay through practicing turn taking, sharing, and following the rules of the game. So, a few things that I want you to keep in mind when you're playing together are to try and follow the rules of the game. This means waiting for your turn and not moving pieces all around the game board outside of your turn. It also means no cheating, which sometimes is very hard for our little ones. Often, games will include elements like a skip your turn, which can be upsetting for our young players, and it's tempting to try and break the rules of the game to avoid these kind of negative game consequences. But these are actually great opportunities to practice talking about feelings and how to manage those negative emotions. And it's also a great time to practice making positive statements to each other like good try and better luck next time. I suggest trying to sustain play this way for at least 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a long time for preschoolers, and most preschool games can last up to 30 minutes when playing appropriately by the rules. So I do suggest trying to play for increments of 5 minutes, putting the game aside and coming back to it until you can play for the entirety of the game according to the rules. When your child starts to get fidgety, I suggest having them try to indicate to you in some way that they're all finished playing. So in school, I will usually say to them to tell me that they're all done by just saying, tell me you're all done playing. Or for my little ones who are not able to say it, we will use a sign for all done, which we can do by putting our hands up and going like this to say all done. So you can help your child do that by taking their hands and making the motion and say all done, and then you can stop playing the game. And I also suggest that you have your child help you clean up the game when you are all finished, because cleaning up the game is also an important social skill to learn, and learning that it is part of gameplay. So when playing the game, I want you to think about the speech and language skills that your children need to practice and work those into your game. So for example, if you're working on actions, make sure you talk about what you're doing as you're doing it. It might be as simple as saying, I am moving my piece, or I am picking a card. Ask questions to your child to get them to tell you how to play the game. And you might say something like, whose turn is it? Or what do I do next? You could also encourage them to use words like first, next, and last to tell you what to do first, next, and then last. That also helps with sequencing skills. Games are a natural way to work on following directions, and this naturally occurs as you play the game. So directions might include roll the dice or move 3 spaces, and then help your child follow that direction correctly. For anyone working on articulation, I suggest trying to come up with a list of words that contain your child's speech sound. There's tons of already made lists that are online, so if you do a quick Google search of list of words beginning with S, if your child's working on S, you will find words and a lot of times pictures that go with those words that you can practice together without having to reinvent the wheel. And when we play games in school and work on articulation, I will have the kids practice the sound or word 3 times before they take their turn. You can give them help with the word or sound by pointing out how you move your tongue, lips, or teeth. And sometimes a mirror can be helpful to show them what they're doing and how they can make changes to try and get that sound correct. Always, when we practice, it's important to give your child praise for trying. Whether or not the sound is correct, make sure you say, great job trying that sound, and then come back to practice later on. And make sure, too, don't forget to let them take their turn. It's easy to get caught up in practicing those words and sounds and skills, but make sure that you are also playing the game, because that is the fun and reinforcing part. I do suggest that if you're going to play the game and work on those language skills, that you focus on that instead of following the rules of the game Or if you want to focus on teaching the rules of the game and work on those pragmatic skills, that you focus on that instead of the language skills that you're working on. That way it is less confusing and the child is not trying to process, how do I take a turn, while they're also thinking about articulation sounds and pausing to take their turn as well. It can be a lot to think about all at once. So again, focus on either working on those speech and language skills or addressing the pragmatic rules of the game so as not to overload your child with figuring out what to do and how to do it. So as always, please feel free to contact me if you have any questions and let me know how your speech therapy practice is going, and I will see you soon. Bye.